Welcome to your mat. We are going to play with the stability ball. I'm using a 65 a bit soggy. I prefer them not to be this soggy because then when you sit on them, and mine will still be okay, but you want to be at a nice 95, a 90-degree angle at the knee when you do sit on them. If it's a lot bigger, some movements can be awkward. If it's much smaller, then you're really bending down to get into your movements. So just rule of thumb, 65 is blown up nicely, quite comfortable. So from here, we're just going to start with that ball actually off to the side. Do a little bit of free flow just to get moving initially. So just kind of trap it so it doesn't get in your way. Just go ahead and put your mute on if you don't mind, Trev. Abs engage gently and just give a little rocking back and forth just to find your connection to your feet. Breathe, inhale, exhale. And then go ahead and leave those feet connected to the ground. Inhale as we come all the way up. Hands down, center heart, hands on your quads. Roll it down vertebrae by vertebrae by vertebrae. Go as deep as you want. And then slowly start to peel up. We're going to big breath up again. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, hands center heart, roll it down. Now, if you're feeling a bit tight, heel toe wider and roll it all the way down. So I'm going right down into passive squat. So tailbone head heavy. And then slowly come up. So I've gone into a gentle lateral rotation. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, come down, roll it again. So I've got that lateral, and I am in a big flexion here. So there is flexion in all of the spine coming forward. And then as we go up, we go through our neutral. We extend back into an extension through thoracic and cervical, and then come back down one more time. Remember, you're a little tight. You don't go as deep. Your hands stay on the knees. If you're okay, the arms dangle, the head dangles, tailbone goes low. Let's do one more. Big breath all the way to the top. Hands down, center heart, and just turn those feet forward. Reach with both arms. Bring them a bit closer. Reach one arm. Lengthen out the other. Push the hips very gently to the side. Lean into that and just give a little stir of that pot. Couple inhales, exhales here. And then go ahead and stir the pot the other direction. And then we're actively going to reach both arms as we bring ourselves up and go right over to the other side. Reach nice and long. Lower that arm. Push the hips out. Gently look down. Couple inhales, exhales with the circling of the arm. And then go ahead and circle the other direction. Bring that arm up, connect those abs, bring it all the way through. Bring the arms in, roll those shoulders, and then reach the arms. Spread out your fingers, spread out your palms. Reach that back. Lift the heart. So we are giving a little extension here. We're opening it up. And then as you exhale, I want you to protract your shoulders and round down, full round, as if you have a big beach ball in your belly as you tuck through. And then come all the way up, spread out your fingers, pull your palms back, lift your heart, get a little extension there, bigger and bigger on each one. And then massive heart hug, pull those shoulders forward, round it down, drop as deep as you feel comfortable, big breath. And then exhale on this one, we're just going to come forward, spread out the fingers, lift the heart one last time. And then bring it all the way down, roll those shoulders. So we're going to grab that ball right off the bat. Just have it in front of you. So every time you come to tall stand, just give it a little hug between your knees so that it doesn't run away on you. So reach the arms, come around the corner, and let's push that ball out. As you press out, if you're a little tight, it's your elbows. If you're not too bad, it's your hands, and drop down. So my hands are wide on the ball. My pinkies are reaching down on the sides, and I'm just rocking back and forth. As I do that, I'm going to lift the balls. I'm going to lift too far. Lift the balls of my feet. Untuck my tailbone and just find my breath. Remember, if you don't have a ball, you can use a foam roller, a broom, anything like that would work. Now bend the knees, drop the tailbone, articulate the spine. Just hold on to that ball gently. Big inhale, we're doing that extension again. Exhale, hands down, center heart. Roll it out again. And on this one, I'm just going to bend into one knee, bend into the other. And I'm just going to heel toe wider and wider and wider. So I'm quite wide now. I've pulled the ball in and I'm actually side to side lunging. So instead of going into that head down position, my head is up. My head is higher than my heart. And I'm just side to side. Yes. Now go ahead and hold it to one side, hand on your quad, and just power into that. So if you want to bring the ball closer to get a little deeper, you can. And just press into that knee, press into that rib hip. Hold it there on the one side. See how far you can go into the lunge, and then press away, switch sides. So start high up, and then as that starts to warm, we get a little deeper. As it starts to get better, you go down to the elbow, and then just go ahead and let that knee go over the toe. That is fine. It's not going to hurt anything, especially if you've got your weight load into your ball. Hold into that, stretch a little bit, really big inhale down into this lunge. And then exhale, press it away. Now we're quite wide, heel, toe, all the way in. So internal, external rotation. And then go ahead and press out into a flat back position. Bend the knees here, hands wide, and look purposefully from the left to the right, getting a little movement in our neckline. Bring it back to center. Now look to your pubic bone, and then look up to the ball if you're able to. So we're tucking and we're pressing. One more time. Now leave your head dangling, bend your knees, curl it in. You might need to open up your legs to grab the ball. Big inhale at the top. Exhale, hands down, center heart. Roll those shoulders back. And go ahead and bend into the knees, heel toe open a little bit. Push the ball off your left foot. Keep your rib hip nice and strong. Give a little stir of the pot here. Right, so make sure the knees are bent. Your spine's more neutral than hunched and rounded, right? We've got control of that. And then stir the pot the other direction. Then take that arm, sweep it across. Now, if you're tight, try and go wide here, right? So if I'm narrow and I sweep, I'm not getting much rotation at all. I want to go wide so I get rotation. I'm going to push that ball out and maybe go deeper. And here I'm going to saw in standing into my rotation. And I'm just rotating. So again, if you're tight, come a little higher to do this, but try and get the rotation happening in the movement. And let's go ahead and stay down there. Rotate as deep as you can. Try and look through your armpit to the sky. Big breath into your rib cage. Bring it back to center. Dangle the arm as you slowly bring it up. Give a few little wiggles there and move the ball to the other side. Hinge it forward. Drop your shoulder down. Stir your pot. Inhale, exhale here. Stir it the other direction. So remember, you're quite wide in your stance so that you can cross that arm and get rotation happening. Now notice if there's a bit of difference between left and right. Maybe go a little deeper if you're able to, and then saw into that. So in mat, we have that saw, right? So I'm just doing this saw in a standing position, no difference. We're just rotating. Go one more time into that saw, and we will do it on the ball as well. Reach that, rotate that neckline to look to the sky if you can. Bring it back to center, bend your knees, drag all the way up. Hold that with your knees slightly. Big inhale, extension up. Exhale, hands down, center heart. Roll those shoulders, and we're going to get those legs a little warmer. So I'm going to bring the ball over to my right side, step forward with my left leg, back with my right. Rotate. Now, if you want a hand weight, go ahead and grab it. I'm going to reach and pull. So I haven't grabbed a hand weight. I'm just looking for a long lunge. Watch as you're lunging, your knee is not collapsing, that you've got it kind of lining up with that baby toe, which means it's slightly rotated out. If it's going over the big toe, not a big deal. Go right ahead. Let's go 4 more and 3. Harder is moving the ball with you, right? So that makes it more unstable. Go ahead and stay down here, nice and low. Inchworm your back leg in. Use the ball and bring it up into scale. Lower, lift. Lower, lift. Now see if you can barely hold on to that ball. Get your rib, hip facing down. 2 more. 1. Now pulse up. 5, 4, 3, 2. We're going to teeter totter and go right into a bent knee lunge. So the toes going down, curl, and bring it back up tall. Pull down from the sky. So now instead of that front lunge where you're putting most of your weight forward over the front leg, you're coming right down through the center line. Go 2 more. If you don't need the ball, don't use it. 1 more. Pull down and pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now stay here nice and low. Reach that one arm and rotate away from the ball. If you can, get a little deeper. 4 more. And 3. Get that beautiful rotation in the spine. 2 more. And 1. Come back to center. Allow the knee to go down. Uncurl the toe. Take that front foot farther forward. Tuck the ball into your hips and stretch it out. Now, if you know you've got the range of motion to go lower, move the ball out of your way and go deeper into your stretches. Yeah, you may not need the ball. If you don't need it, toss it out. You can take your hands, push into the ball, lift the heart, or one arm and the other, or just one arm. If you're okay with it, you can bind into that back leg, stretch a little deeper there. I've decided to go into a massive hamstring cramp, so I'm just going to come up. You're ignoring me. I'm just enjoying a lovely hamstring cramp. One more big breath. Laterally rotate that leg out to the side. Come down into a little bit of gecko. Beautiful. Now, if you don't need the ball, again, push it out of the way and go deeper down to the hand. If you're still good, go down to your elbow. If you want the ball, go ahead and use it. Nice little breath there. Rotate it back to center. Push your hips back. And then straighten out that front leg. Now, if you want to use the ball to dorsiflex that foot up a little stronger, pull it in and get a little more stretch into the hamstring and into the calf line, you can. Inhale, exhale as you deepen into that hamstring stretch. One more little breath. And then slowly come up, pull that ball in tight, move the leg all the way around. Remember which leg you had forward. Tuck the ball into your hips and your pelvis. Put your elbows on the ball. From here, instead of rounding and tucking, find neutral in your spine, curl your toes. Again, just like any plank, we don't want to lean our shoulders over top of our wrists. We want them over top of our elbows. Push into the ball and lift an inch. Let's hang out. Hang out there. Shoulders down and away. Breathe as you go, just getting that plank feeling. Now notice if you've got those shoulders way over your wrists, just kind of push those elbows out a little bit. Feel that turn on that core as you change where your line of gravity is. It intensifies it. Go 3, 2, 1. Lift the hips, pull it back, and stretch, rock back and forth. Inhale, exhale. Bend the knees, float it all the way in. Now my ball is going to the opposite side, and I'm stepping forward with the right leg, ball in the left hand, left leg side. Find the lunge here. Left and right. Again, sometimes those hips are not the same. Just gently test the waters. I'm going to reach and press up. You do want your spine staying neutral here. Tendency when you stand up tall is to lift the chest as well. That's extension, right? We want to stay neutral, which means that spine is just moving with the knee, hip, ankle mobility or flexion. Rolling the ball and your arm, going to make it harder. It's going to make it more unstable. Go 2 more, go as deep as you feel good. 1 more. Now stay in the forward lean. Inch from your back leg, and then draw that up. Fingertip the ball. Lower and lift in opposition, 1 arm, 1 leg. Really stretch that leg out, guys. 4 more, squeeze the glute. 3, nice. 2. Now pulse up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slide that foot down. Tapped you in the sternum bone. You brought your chest up. Remember, if you don't need the ball, don't use it. And then down and up. We're going to pull from the sky. So I'm inchworming my foot forward. So my knee isn't way over my toe. It can be over the toe, but in this position, we want it more coming down the center of our body. 3 more. 2, we're going to go to the bow and arrow. Stay down here. Little tuck of the tailbone. Reach the arm and rotate. Let's go 5. If you can, get lower on that leg. It can hover just above the floor. Get your rotation. 2 more. 1. Bring it back. Lower that knee. Uncurl your toe. Move the foot forward. Get rid of the ball if you're not using it. Lean into the hip. Lift that heart. So going into the hip flexor stretch. If you want to reach, you can. If you want to bring one arm up, you can. Whatever feels good. Allow yourself here to not only have the hips forward with a small tuck, but a lengthen through the cervical and the thoracic spines. Or vertebrae. There's only one spine. But we can have as many as we want. Bring it back to center. Push your hips back. Laterally rotate out the front leg. Lean into that again. If you're a little bit tight, you're going to keep that ball right tucked into you. If you're feeling okay, maybe you go down to your hands, push that elbow into the knee, feeling really good, down to your elbows, right? When your body is ready, add that little bit of rotation. Make sure that shoulder that you're looking towards is down and away. So your chest is open so you can rotate fully. A couple really nice breaths. And then bring it back to center, parallel everything out. Ball or not, doesn't matter. I'm going to hinge my hips back, Pull my foot up so I get a little hamstring stretch as well as calf, and then just fold down here. Cycle your breath. Be mindful where your shoulders are. It's very easy to get those shoulders wrapped up in a way. Let your elbows always sort of drop down so that the shoulder blade just naturally downwardly rotates. Pull that all the way in, and we're going back to that plank. Bring it all the way around, but we're going to stand it out farther. So instead of knees bent, we're going to extend out. So push into the elbows a little bit. Find a slightly supported spine on this one. So I've done a small tuck, and then I'm going to curl my toes, and I'm going to lift up at the same time, but then I'm going to step out once I'm up there. Now notice if you're kind of leaning over your ball, right? So this isn't an exaggeration, but I'm leaning over it. I want to be into my elbows, and then I want to push those arms out a bit. Ooh, there's the difference. Now if you've got that and you're holding strong, point and flex the foot or the ankle. Draw those abs in. Let's go. 5, 4, 3. Watch your booties not starting to stick up. Yeah, there we go. Now go ahead and bring the knees down. Uncurl your toes. Move your ball just out of the way for now so that we can get a little down dog and get the calf stretched out. Curl the toes, lift, and let's just prance. So I've brought my head out. So I'm not dropped down here. I'm not in my shoulders right now. My shoulders are stabilizing, but I'm not dropped into them for a stretch. I'm going to alternate, really feeling that stretch through the toes, pulling that heel up. Now let's get the calf stretch. Drop both heels, and then now drop into your chest line. Now if that's difficult, lift the heels, bend the knees, but deepen into your shoulders. Give a little no here. So I'm looking from left to right, and then give a little yes. And then walk your hands to your feet. So you come out of that a bit, walk it in. 4, 3, all the way in on 2 and 1. Bend the knees, drop the tailbone, curl the spine. We're going to roll back out again, and we're going to do a little cat-cow to thigh stretch. So roll it down, hands to the floor. Walk it out in 4, 3, up on the balls of the feet, down to the knees on 2 and 1, and then go ahead and grab that ball again. So if you don't have your ball with you, you could use a small ball or a roller. It would work here. Hug it in nice and tight, so I'm holding, and then drop your shoulders. Let's do cat-cow here. So we're going to curl the spine, start to push out on the ball. I like my hands a little wider so that my shoulders don't wrap up around my ears, and drop into my chest. If my hands are right on top, my shoulders come around my ears. If my hands are wider, I can get my shoulders away. From here, I'm just going to rock it forward and backwards. As I rock out, I get more anterior curve in my spine. As I pull in, I start into a flexion in the spine. How far out you go is up to you. Ideally, when you come back here, don't sit down on your heels. Come back and start to tuck when you feel the sensation of seated position. Exhale, tuck, come a little higher. One more time, big exhale, tuck your tailbone, fully roll it all the way up. Just place that ball kind of close to your finger. I'm going to keep fingertips on. Rib hip check, slightly supported spine, and lean back with your thighs. Now, once you're in a spot where you're like, okay, that's a good challenge on the thighs, roll your chest open. Take your cervical open. Big breath here. Bring all the back into somewhat neutral. And then pull yourself forward. Let's go again. Peel it down, cat-cow. Lengthen it out. Play here for a little bit. Drop your tailbone. Slowly come all the way up. Pull that in. Hold it very gently. Get that little supported spine. The glutes will engage. Lean back into the thighs to start with. And here you'll let go of the ball if you want to involve the arms. Open the chest. And now I'm going to reach the arms out as well. Slowly come in. Pull yourself up, and hopefully your ball didn't run away too far. Take your elbows in, curl your toes, bring your knees in tighter. They would have been wider there. And then curl your toes and sit back into your pins and needles here. So I'm just going to sit back and get my toes right underneath my feet. Heels in tight versus sickling out to the side, and just feel that little stretch there. From here, I just want you to round forward and lengthen up to neutral. Round forward, so we're holding pins and needles. We're just going to move that spine a bit. Round forward. On this one, I want you to give an extension in that thoracic and that cervical. Lengthen it up a bit more. Draw your shoulders down and away. and then bring it forward and round. Keep your heels sitting down. Now, if your knees don't do this, just come taller, right? And then roll it in and give that opener. Big breath here. Find yourself in neutral, elbows onto the ball, curl those toes, lift, press yourself back. Push that out, and let's just add that poodle wag there. So I could be on my elbows, standing taller for poodle wag. I could be on my hands, but I am getting big now with that poodle wag. Look to the hip as you bring it around the corner. Everything should feel quite warm. Bend your knees, bring that on in, and let's sit down on that ball. So sitting on the apex to start with, and then we're going to go slightly forward of the apex of the ball, right? So the very top of the ball. Now I just want you to bring yourself forward. So if you have a really short ball for your height, this can be uncomfortable. If you need to stay on the top, go right ahead. Heels in parallel sits bones, reach the arms. And I'm just going to, without rolling the ball, so my knees don't go forward and backwards, I'm going to move my spine and roll it along the ball and open. Go as far as you feel comfortable. Head, neck issues, support. Cervical nod, exhale. Straighten out your legs here. Straighten out your legs as you come up and fold forward. So I felt like I need a little bit more support on my back. I've brought my bum farther forward from the apex. Big breath here. Curl it down. So you're going to move the ball initially, and then once you're at about 90 degrees on those knees, we're going to hold them still. Open. If you need to support your neck, go ahead. Inhale, cervical nod. My arms are running on railway tracks. Push into the legs. Fold that all the way forward and down. Now, if this is tight on the hammies, bend those knees. One more time. Curl. And now physically push your spine into the ball as you vertebrae by vertebrae open it up. Stay here. Give me a snow angel. Wide shoulders down, around, and then just a hundreds curl. Just a hundreds, just a hundreds. And then go back over, big breath. Cervical nod, big exhale, and hundreds. Two more. So we're just waking up that abdominal line now. And we're exhaling and hold. And one more time. Open it up. On this one, we're going to roll. On this one, we're going to roll. All the way up, all the way up. Extend those legs and fold forward. Let your head dangle. Big breath here. Come all the way to tall. We're going to add seated rotation. So pop yourself up onto the apex. We're going to come back to that for saw, but pop onto the apex. Knees in sits bones. Reach the arms to the side. Now, if you feel unbalanced, take your legs wider. All right. Otherwise, sits bones. Inhale, rotate. Inhale, rotate. Now peek at your knees. If this shifts your pelvis or your hip, you know you've moved through the pelvis. One more rotation, looking to the back arm. Exhale, center. Inhale, rotate. Inhale, rotate. Inhale, rotate. Look to the back hand. Exhale, center. Two more. Inhale, rotate. Inhale, rotate. Inhale, rotate. If you can, glance to that back hand and bring it back. Last time. Inhale. Inhale, sit super tall. Inhale, glance to the back hand. Bring it center, release that out. Sneak yourself again. What feels too far forward? Nice and close. If you're on carpet, just make sure your ball is on your mat. Otherwise, that ball can slip away on you. Let's roll it down. Same thing. We're going to go all the way over. You've done this one. We're going to add saw to it. Inhale, cervical nod. Now, as you come up and you start to see your knees, sweep your right arm behind you, straighten the legs, sweep your left arm through the shin, and then look up to that hand. Now, watch your balance here. Big breath here. And then we're going to sweep all the way back. Roll it vertebrae by vertebrae, so we're adding rotation at the end there. Open it, support your neck if you need to. Cervical nod, big breath out. Sweep the left hand, saw with the right. Watch you don't move your pelvis. Pelvis is staying fairly still, and reach it forward here. Really extend that hand up, reaching your pinky towards you. And then come all the way through. We're going to do it two more times, one to each side. Open we go. Cervical nod, sweep that arm, stretch the other arm, shoulders are down, and then lengthen into your saw. I'm going to peekaboo up. Last one, all the way. Lengthen it over, big stretch. Cervical nod, sweep the arm, and saw. And then come all the way to tall. Beautiful. Walk it on so you're again on that apex. Sit nice and tall on your ball. Keep your ribs fairly still and start giving me these little circles. So on the circles, you can have your legs wider, but think posterior tilt, lateral, little extension in the lower back, lateral, and then posterior. So with that, I could use the knees and make that ball move, or I can keep the knees fairly still. There's going to be some shifting in them because your pelvis is shifting and the hip attaches into the pelvis, right? So you're going to get some little movement, but I want it to more be about kind of doing, you have a hula hoop and you're moving that hula hoop. And just feel that mobility happening in your pelvis. And then unwind it. Sometimes it's really hard to isolate the upper from the lower. And it's never totally isolated, right? It doesn't really work that way. But you can move it somewhat independent. Wiggle into that. Bring your feet in tight. Reach one arm, tighter, harder. And I'm going to reach the other arm. I'm going to laterally flex. So I'm going to reach this arm actively down the side of the ball and push my hips the opposite direction. So you're going to see everything kind of lean. Reach that out. Take a glance down. Big breath. Use your oblique muscles to pull yourself up. And now reach. Drop your shoulders. Lean. This is my dumbass side. So even right here, the hip sort of goes, and it grips. Just gently come out of any gripping. Don't push through it. Take a peek down. Lean. Couple really big breaths into the rib cage. And then reach both as you come all the way out. Let those arms circle. Bring them down and around. Beautiful. Come on off that. Start at the front of your mat. I'm just holding it with my knees so it doesn't run away. I'm just going to sit down, roll down. So if you don't like the sit down, roll down, just go right down. Otherwise, I have a lateral rotation. Nice big booty squat. I'm holding the ball. And then just roll like a ball. Roll like a ball, but stay down there. I'm going to roll and stay down here. Yes. So go ahead and find yourself in supported spine. Bring the ball up. And hug the ball between your knees and your hands. Now, if this is difficult for any reason, go ahead and put the feet down and start it here. Otherwise, we're up. I have a space between the knees, between my knees. And I'm going to push the ball with my hands, yet pull the ball with my knees and compress the ball. I can be in neutral or supported spine. I'm holding neutral. Typically for PAI, if the knees are in the air, you are in supported spine. Let's hold 5, 4, 3, 2, release. Let the legs just touch down briefly. Take an inhale. Exhale, engage, slightly supported spine up to the ball of the foot, and then drag those legs up again. Push the ball into your hands. Pull the ball in with your knees. Feel the compression and hold for 5, 4. Get rid of your shoulders. 3, 2, 1. Gently come out. And slowly let those feet touch down. Now we're going to go one arm, one leg on the same side. On the same side. Bring that up. The other foot can stay down for now, right? Start to push just with the one hand and one leg. Now, if you're okay, bring up the other leg. Hold it tabletop or reach it out long and straight. 5. So yeah. There you go, Karen. Hold it there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bring both knees in, lower it down, switch that ball to the other side. So this is just a nice isometric hold we're getting into. Find slightly supported, one hand, one foot. Engage, bring that up. Start your compression. Now, if the compression there is enough and you're happy with that, stay. Otherwise, tabletop the other leg. Still working for you. Reach that leg out. Rib, hip is strong. So I'm pushing that ball into my knee. I'm drawing the abdominals in, and I'm stretching out my opposite leg. Let's go for 5, 4, cycle your breath. 3, 2, 1, bring it in, foot down, ball in. Go ahead and take the ball in between your legs. Reach it out. So if I want more support, I'm going to stay here with my knees bent right over the ball when I roll up for my hundreds. If I'm feeling good about it, I'm going to reach my legs away and I'm going to roll up here. If I'm feeling really good, once I've started, if I'm like, yeah, that's working for me, up comes that nasty ball in the legs. So kind of decide where you want to start. I'm starting with my heels on top. Inhale, cervical nod, find a supported spine, roll it up, and this might be where you stay. If you're feeling good, walk that ball out, and let's get the arms going. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Watch the legs aren't bouncing, right? Nice and tight. Exhale, 2. If you're picking the ball up, grab it with your ankles, Hold the knees back. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2. Working, stretch it out. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. You should be looking through your pubic bone. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 40. No, we're probably about 50 right now. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 60. Inhale, 2. We're just going for it. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 70. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 80. You are almost there. 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Last set. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 100. Pull in, lower the ball, feet on top, release it down. One leg down to the ground. One leg on, doesn't matter which one. I'm starting it with a lateral rotation close into my pubic bone, but the ball is, I'm on the apex closest to me, or sorry, the downslope closest to me. I'm going to push it away, rotate my knee the other direction. So I'm just doing circles on the one hip. So once you start the circles, you can play with where your foot needs to be. Let that hip have a little release, roll it out, pull it in, roll it out, pull it in, and then reverse it. And then slide it to the other knee. And then start that roll and curl. Inhale, exhale. Go 2 more. And then switch your directions if you haven't yet. Just to allow a little bit of hip release here. And then go ahead and pull that all the way in. So we're going to go right into some hamstring work. Find the ball right into your butt. If you have a headrest, kick it out now. And then from here, with it right in, I want you to bring your knees in tighter. So your knees are no longer at the, sorry, your heels aren't at the apex. They're forward. So the knees are in tight right now. They won't be. Push into the ball and let it come up a bit. Push into the ball. So I'm in neutral spine right now because I actually am anchored to the floor in theory because they're on the ball. My legs are not unsupported. Now push into the ball. Lift your hips as high as you want to go. Lower your hips. Now, if you're really pushing in with your heels and you're keeping your toes up, your shins might get a little tight. You can relax those down if you want. Exhale and lift a little harder. I'm going to bring my upper arm, or sorry, my forearm off. I have sits bones difference, not much wider. And bring it down. Exhale and lift. Inhale and down. Just come through this way. Exhale and lift. Inhale and down. Now go ahead and stay just a hair lifted. As I straighten the legs, I'm going to find supported spine. So I will have come from down here up a little higher, right? From here, I'm going to lift as high as I can get it. My feet just went flat. And then I'm going to almost come to the floor, but not quite. Press the legs out to straight. Lift the hips higher. Squeeze those glutes. Lower almost to the bottom, but not quite. 2 more. Press it out, squeeze. So if you're down here, try and push into those hips and lift those hips up in this position. And then lift a little higher. This mimics one of the tower exercises. And lower when your feet are in the little fuzzy straps. Press it out, squeeze. Lift it stronger. And this one we're going to lower all the way down. Beautiful. Let one foot come in, leg come in tight. Grab the other leg and let's just point and flex here a little bit. Again, if you need a stretch strap, always bring it, right? Always have a stretch strap, especially if you know you're a little tight in those hammies. And we're just going to point and flex that foot. And then relax that one on. Sneak it to the other leg. Point and flex there a little bit. Make sure you switched your legs. And we're going to go to single leg work here on the hammies. Bring it back to center. Pull it in tight. I'm using my left leg first. I'm taking my right leg down to the ground. The option would be bringing it up. It's very intense when you do bring it up. When you line this up, it's right from your hip joint to the knee to the heel. Nice straight lines. I don't have it off to the side. Line the ball up with your sit bone. If you feel it, you want that sit bone center. From here, compress and let it come up. So I'm just going to get rid of this leg for a second. Compress the ball. Let it come up. So you'll see I'm trying to squish the air out of the ball. So I'm trying to do a hamstring curl with the leg, but I can't curl it because the ball's in the way. Now keep a little press there. And I just want you to lift your hips and lower your hips. So stay neutral or slightly supported, but keep pushing down in the heel. So I'm not lifting my other leg up, but I'm weight bearing more into the one leg. As I do that, see if you can bring your arms up. Still working for me. I'm going to bring the arms over the head. Lift, lower. Push down with the heel on the ball. So we're just holding a contraction here. Now hold that up a little bit. Kick it out to straight. Pull it in. Kick it out. Pull it in. One more time. Kick it out. Pull it in. Lower it down. Beautiful. Bring it over to the other side. Find that heel on top. And all I'm going to do with my other foot down to start with is compress and bring it up. Compress and bring it up. You could use a little bender ball underneath your heel if you wanted to, Kathleen. And little compress if you wanted to make, but it's really wobbly. That would be a good challenge. Go ahead and keep the compression, right? So we're not letting it relax, and we're going to lift the hips, lower the hips. If that's working for you, bring the arms up. Keep that compression going on that leg, and we're just lifting and lowering. Try to weight bear more into the leg on the ball than you do with the leg on the floor. If you're really ambitious, you can take the foot off on the floor. Not going to happen for me today. I will go into instant hamstring cramp, but we're just going to work on the supported one. Now go ahead and leave it lifted to where you feel comfortable. Stretch it out, pull it in, stretch it out, pull it in. Let's go 4 and in and 3. Push your heel into that ball. 2 and 1. Nice. All the way in and lower. Woo. Grab hold of the ball. Bring your knees in and just use that to roll yourself up. Stretch it out, and we're just going to do spine stretch. So the ball is in between my legs. Have my feet just turned in on the ball just initially to start. So it's quite close. It's quite close in. I've got control of it. I'm going to reach the arms. And I'm going to just let my cervical and my thoracic have a little low down. Inhale here, bring the arms up again, push the ball out a little bit and go farther. So now the ball's moving out from between my legs. Lift up a little bit, push a little farther, wiggle your sits bones out of the way and your insulation. Inhale here, exhale, press till you feel a stretch. Nice big inhale, and then walk that all the way in. Inhale, lift. Exhale, head and cervical drop down, or head and thoracic. Inhale, lift, and push the ball a little farther out. Inhale, lift the arms. Push the ball a little farther out. And one last one, push the arms. And now wiggle out as far as you want, finding that hamstring stretch. Big breath here. Give a little no in your neck. And bring it all the way home. Beautiful. Bring your knees in and come around to tall knees. Now, this is our legs, our side lying series, leg series. If you don't have a ball, I'm just going to show you. What I would do is just connect to the ground in the same way. The ball is a little bit more forgiving. If you don't like that and the hips don't like it, do this on mat. Do a mat variation. So from here, I've got my legs slightly laterally rotated. I don't know if you can see through my legs. They're slightly laterally rotated. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up, when I fall out to one side, actually anchoring a toe. So I'm not going to laterally flex to fall. My hand is on. I'm going to weight bear into the one knee, still in neutral, and I'm going to let my armpit fall on as I hug that in. So where you lie depends on the length of your body, but my armpit's right on there. Now my bottom leg is going to flex underneath, so I'm connected and this leg is reaching. Shoulders are down. Lift, lower. Lift, lower. So if I look down my leg, it is straight out my hip socket, right? It's not forward, it's straight out. Tendency will be to roll back on your hip. The issue is if you roll back on your hip, you actually roll backwards on the ball and you'll lose stability. So I quite like this one here. If that back toe anchor is bothering you, you can undo it. It'll make you less stable. If your neck is getting at you, just rest it. 3 more. And 2. So this is side leg lift series 1. Let's get our circles. There's our series 2. This is where you really start to wiggle around on the ball. Keep your ball as isolated as you can, and it's just the hip mobilizing in its socket. Push back just like you're pulling forward. So I want you to feel the glute and hamstring squeeze as you go backwards. Go slow here. Get a good squeeze without extending the spine. Switch directions, circle, squeeze it back there. Pull it forward. Draw those abs in, lengthen your spine. Go 2 more. Squeeze and circle. 1 more. Squeeze and circle. Now hold the leg reaching out. If it's getting tired, lower it. Flex your foot. This hand is going to stabilize on the ball. I'm going to do 2 kicks forward, point the toes, flex it back, extend it back, sorry. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Double kick series. Inhale, inhale, exhale. One more. Inhale, inhale, exhale. Now here's the fun part. I'm going to reach that leg, put both hands on, pop up, and bring it to the center. Let those hips have a little wiggle. Inhale, exhale. So if you're on the other side, you're just going to rotate through. Give those hips a little wiggle, you guys. Go ahead and stick the booty out. If it's a little tight, pull it forward, whatever feels like you got to kind of open up, little hula hoops. And then go ahead and take that foot in close, or say the ball in close to your hip. So it's right on my hip. I'm laterally rotated. And then as I fall, I'll pull the ball into my hip. So I come into the weight on one leg, pull it in, fall. Send that leg out, anchor your toe. Lift and lower. So it's really important that that leg that's anchored is turned, right? You've got to have that lateral rotation. Otherwise, it's going to be really awkward on the knee. As soon as you're ready, lift lower. So if I'm looking forward, I actually can't see my leg in peripheral vision. I'm going to go on my elbow if I want, just giving my headline support. Lift, lower, straight out from my hip socket. Abs gently drawn in. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now keep it reaching. If you're a little bit tight in the hip, lower it and give me those circles, nice and slow. So if I put middle finger on ASI as thumbs on ribs, I would not feel myself flex and extend through the spine. You won't find you can actually cheat on this one when you're on the ball, because you would fall forward and fall backwards. You'd feel the movement with your ball. It'd give you good feedback. Squeeze the glute as you push it behind. When you're ready, switch the directions on your circles. Really think of extending that leg right out from your hip socket. If the leg feels too heavy, remember, a shorter lever length is always doable. So I've just bent my knee to decrease the weight load on my hip, right? The longer that lever, the more aggressive it's going to be. Go 2 more and 1. So we're going to go to side kick series. Go ahead and flex your foot. Put this hand on the ball if you need it. You may not need it. We're going to do 2 kicks forward. Inhale, inhale, 1 kick back. Could I do this with bent knee? Absolutely. 1, 2, hip extension. So if your hip is just like, kick it in there, go ahead and bend that knee. Let's go 2 more. 1 more. Uncurl the toe on the ground, both hands on the ball, push, and bring yourself up. Give a little swing into your hips, and we're going to actually stretch that piriformis out a little bit. So stand to tall. Go ahead and sit on the ball. I'm going to use an anchor point. I want to focus on the stretch and not on trying to not fall off my ball. So I'm putting my hips against ball against the wall, and I'm bringing one leg up. From here, once you're balanced, let's press into those hips a little bit. Get those lateral rotators, shoulders down. Couple inhales, exhales as you stretch forward. If that's not comfortable or you think you're going to fall off your ball, you guys take it to the floor, lie down, and do a 4 stretch. You don't have to be on the ball, right? Couple inhales, exhales. Switch legs. Give your legs a little wiggle. And then cross the other one over. Whoop, as I fall over. Push into that knee a little bit. Lean forward. So we're going to transition. We've worked the side of the hip. We're going to keep going with the side of the body theory or theme. And we're going to start our lateral flexion lateral flexion on the side of the spine right away. So if you're on the ground, you could easily put a small ball squished, barely with any air, underneath your waistline and do the exercises, or just free flow it straight on the ground. It's a little more difficult to find a modification here. So you're coming to a piece of wall. You do need an anchor point here. I'm going to pull that quite close in. So my feet are about 9.5, so I'm probably 2 steps out. My toe is not touching the ball, it's just hiding under the ball. I'm going to turn my hips, step forward with the ball leg, step back with the wall leg. I'm going to drop, pull that into my hip, and then from there I'm going to settle my feet into place. The automatic reaction is to straighten out the back leg. Problem with that is then the QL goes into a slight extension. So if you have QL stuff going on, that's not going to be happy. So from here, I'm going to lie my spine so it just curves with the ball. The farther the ball is to the wall, the harder it's going to be. Hip square with the knee. Front leg can be straight if you want. And then from here, hand on the ball, bottom hand wrapped. I'm going to start my flexion. I'm going to exhale up. If I don't need the hand on the ball, I'll take it off. I am going along what would be the middle of the ball as I come up and down. Try to get the dip of the shoulder and then the lengthen. That's working for you. Hands supporting your head, but tuck your elbow in. My arm is heavy. Still working for you. This arm can reach and come up with your body. Still working for you. Both arms can reach. Both arms. Keep between two planes of glass. If that QL of the back, upper part of the back, the top hip, is kicking in, bend that knee in and watch you're not extending your spine. You're neutral. Let's go 2 more. And go 1. Now come up to neutral. Right, so here's lateral flexion. Start at neutral, pulse up. 8, 7, 6. It's small. 5, 4, 3. Draw those abs up. 2, 1, and release. So I'm going to take my legs wider, quite wide. I'm allowing that back top hip to open now. Support your neck, and we're going to do our circle. So I'm going to fall forward. I'm going to roll that ball behind my shoulder blades. I'm going to rotate open and look backwards. Roll it forward, big inhale. Roll it back, big exhale. Full rotations. One more time this way, forward. Roll it back, reverse. Reach it, bring it forward. Tuck that back hip back as you go. So it's kind of like being on the spine corrector, right? Or your Pilates arc. One more time. And then reach that forward, get that beautiful stretch, bring it back into center. My bottom hand goes, I really push my hip into that. One hand on the ball, one hand on the wall. Tuck your feet in, press as you come up. It's a nice, powerful exit. So let's do the other side. Come in, you're about those 2 feet away of your leg length, your foot length. Step forward with your ball leg, step back with your wall leg. Could you do it the other way? Yes, it would be a closed chain, it would be harder. Go for it if you want. Drop down. Pull the ball into your greater trochanter and just drop into it. Then from there, wiggle your feet in place. So I'm lunging on the wall with both legs bent. I'm in just a regular lunge. From here, support, hand on, and exhale up, inhale down. Go ahead and look at your hip, my shoulder, middle of my shoulder, middle of my greater trochanter, to my knee is basically one long line. That allows me not to be in any extension on one side. Now, if I extend out that back leg, the hip flexor stretch kicks in, and the QL on that side kicks in. And the erectus spinae, because I've got an extension unilaterally. So you want to watch that, because our focus is on the lateral flexion here, not on the extension. I'm trying to keep neutral. Feels good. One arm up, both arms up. Exhale, inhale. Lie long, lie over this way, and come up. Let's go 4 more. And 3. As you come up, try not to bounce off the ball. Go 2 more. And last 1. Come up to neutral and pulse. 8, 7. Very controlled. Don't let the ball bounce you. 5, 4. Breathe out as you come up. 3, 2, 1, and release. So I'm taking a bigger stance on the floor. My legs are quite wide. Support your neck. I'm going to dive forward and then move the ball underneath my back and stretch it open. So this arm is reaching as big as it can, right? Inhale forward, roll it, exhale back. One more time this way. Big breath out and roll. Let's switch directions. Open and to the front. Go 2 more. One last one. Big breath, guys. Reach it to the front. Feel that stretch. Pull it in. Get your elbow underneath you. Push your hips quite hard into the ball. And then one hand, one foot. Up we go. So we're going into extension. Hold the ball with your knees. Same rule of thumb, except for I'm going to start with the ball closer. The longer my body is hanging over the ball, the more aggressive the exercise on the extensors. So if they're tight, you pull it in. Matt, put a small bender ball underneath your chest line. So I'm going to come down. I'm going to lower down into a plie. This is going to end up being too big of a plie, right? My legs are wider than my ball. I'm going to drop my pubic bone into the ball, and then I'm slowly going to lie over the ball and reach my legs long. Now, if you're on carpet and it's slippery, like if I didn't use the mat underneath, my ball would shoot out for swan dive. So I need to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. My feet are down low. Feet are down low, anchored on the wall. Yes, there you go. Now from here, just put your hands on and give one little extension. If your legs are way out here, it's not going to happen. Your feet are going down and in slightly. So they're no wider than what would be the mat. Beautiful. Now see if you can straighten out those legs. So if you're in a position you can't get the straight legs, go ahead and straighten them out. Hands on the ball. If the back is bothering you, slightly bend. If you can, activate glutes and hamstrings, leave those legs straight, and lengthen into your upper torso. So I'm doing this with assistance first. I'm going to lengthen up using my hands. See where that will go. So I'm kind of giving a little push up here. It's just like a nice strong swan. Inhale, come into flexion, let it go down. Lift, press, shoulders down, and lengthen up. So we're increasing that range of motion, starting in flexion in the spine, going through neutral, which is torpedo, up into extension. Beautiful. Now, if this is working for you, hands by the side of your legs. Try not to use your arms. So as soon as I do that, I feel like I need the ball slightly farther forward to give me more love. So I've moved my ball slightly. Don't be shy about doing that. Now, if it feels good, you're going to reach the arms above your head and just keep them there. If they're heavy, bend them and just come up to a V. Inhale forward, draw those abs in, keep them in the whole time. Exhale, length. One more time. Inhale forward. Exhale, lengthen up. And then bring your elbows to the ball and just push off the wall for a moment and just feel yourself round your spine. So my knees are tighter in now. I'm not in lateral flexion. I mean, they're open more like a squat, and I'm kind of pushing off the wall like I'm squatting away from it. And it's just allowing me to flex in my spine for recovery. Bring your feet back to anchored. Bring your feet back to anchored. This first movement starts with bent knees. I'm going to do it here, and then I'm going to take it to the sidewall. You can see it better. So I'm going to start with my hands on. I'm going to push out first into torpedo. I can come up to the ball of my foot here. From here, I'm going to press my hands into the ball, bend my knees so my pubic bone is into the ball, and find myself straight up and down. From there, I'm going to give an extra extension, bring myself back to neutral, push out to torpedo, and fold forward. So I'm just going to take it to the wall so you can kind of get a see what that looks like here. So I'm in this position here and I'm bent and I'm just forward. Then I'm going to push out to my torpedo. I'm going to bend my knees so they are aiming down to the floor, push my pubic bone into the ball and find myself fairly straight, although I'm getting a hip flexor stretch. I'm going to lift my heart for a bit more extension, bring it back to neutral, push out to torpedo, and then fold. So the next option on my arms, reaching down to my sides, right? If you want the full option, arms above your head, guys. So I'm going to press out to torpedo. I'm going to lift to the sky, lengthen a bit more, roll your palms open, open your chest. Go all the way into neutral, press it out to torpedo, flexion, fold down. So with the arms reaching, I'm going to reach our torpedo. Those arms are heavy. I'm going to pull, reaching straight to the sky. Give that extension. Bring it back to the sky. Reach it to torpedo. Fold it forward. One more time. Reach it out. Torpedo. Long and straight. Lengthen to the sky. Pretty much long and straight, except for the hip flexors feel a stretch. Lift that heart a bit more. Extension. Bring it to neutral. Continue it out into neutral. Hold here. Reach your arms behind you. Now I am up on my ball of foot and I am engaged fully to the floor or to the wall. I'm not on the floor at all. I'm going to reach and lower. Watch your head's not looking up, right? It's an extension of your spine, but I'm actually just neutral. I'm just in a Superman position, reaching and lowering. Or torpedo, I guess, on the ball. Go two more and reach. One more and reach, working for you. Stay there. One a little harder, reach the arms above. Lift the arms only, lower the arms. Lift the arms, Lower the arms. As you lift the arms, you'll feel the weight load get heavier in the spine muscles. That's all good. Try and keep your legs straight. Let's go 2 more. And last one. And then release. Roll. Be one with your ball. I'm going to take my legs and just kind of peek at this. My hands are on the floor. I'm going to widen out my legs. So I brought them from kind of a little bit of turnout to a big turnout. And now I'm just going to frog. So in this position, I might be able to get myself high enough that I can actually get my feet right down to the floor and kind of go back and forth. So now I've got my feet down, my heels down, and I'm doing a massive frog. So I'm in that nice, long, passive squat happening. Watch you don't roll so far back that you actually go backwards, guys. Very easy to kind of fall backwards here. One more little roll, and then bring it to neutral. Hands on the ball, press that into tall. Woo, lovely. Bring yourself back into the center. And we're just going to, one more time, find a piece of wall to sit on. That lateral position with your feet on the wall gets those lateral rotators again. So we're going to go back into that same stretch one more time. Now, if you're like, okay, that stretch feels good and I feel quite open there, go ahead, ignore your ball and go into your pigeon or your double pigeon on the floor. Right? So if your hips are ready for more, go. You don't have to do this on the ball. I have some nice tight hips happening. I'm going to stay here. Couple inhales, exhales, releasing into those lateral rotators. And then we are going to do a seated stretch here. We're going to be on the ball. Kylie, you don't have to come on the ball. All you're going to do is stretch one leg out. So keeping one leg curled in like you are in pigeon, take one leg out. And then just fold forward for a stretch. Yeah, that's perfect. And then lengthen into that. So if you're on the floor, you're just right like this. If you want more support because you're a bit tighter, the ball could be in the middle. And you could be holding, right? You do not have to by any means be up on the ball for this. There's always options, guys. Couple little breaths into that. When you're good, come on out of that little hammy stretch and let's carefully cross the other leg. So single pigeon, double pigeon, on the floor, on the ball, hold into that. I notice that my shoulders have become beautiful earrings. Get your shoulders away from your ears, you guys. Fold forward into this, you'll feel more stretch come into those lateral rotators. Even if you gently rock forward and backwards, where your knee goes forward over the toes and pulls back, you'll notice that changes the stretch. If you move your bum left and right, that also changes. Just don't fall off your ball. I'm going to fall off my ball if I do that. Then you're going to take that leg that's crossed, you're going to reach it out and avoid putting pressure into your knee with your hands. If you need your hands down, it goes above the quad and you lengthen down. If you're okay, reach the arms. If you're still okay, drop your toes. If you can get to those toes, and I didn't do this on the other side, but it's a great fascia line, plantar fasciitis. If your plantar fasciitis is active and acute, this is a no. It'll probably be too intense. But if I put my finger, or I just take that big toe and the second toe and the third toe, and I pull back on them, I will feel this huge stretch along the bottom of my foot. So if you're a person who does get plantar fasciitis and it's not acute at this point in time, this is one of those things that you kind of want to do on a daily basis if you've had it at some point in time. So if you feel you want to go back to the other leg, go ahead and go back to that. We didn't do that on the other foot. Maybe we'll just do that quickly. Go ahead and pull that toe back. You need to not be tightening your shin, right? You need to be nice and loose in that shin. And just draw the toes up. Now again, I have gorilla arms and I'm fairly flexible in the hamstring. If you can't get to that foot, bring it in closer. Bend the knee and just focus on the shin, or sorry, the fascia line stretch by pulling up on your toes. If you can get the leg straight, go ahead. The leg straight will get more activity in it, right? Slowly come out of that. Let's go ahead and just slide that ball wherever it may go is perfectly fine. Take a few little shimmies, wiggle things out. And let's find our stretch. Inhale up through to the sky. Exhale, hands down, center heart. And let's go the other direction. Open, circle wide. We're going to do a relaxed sweep. So as you come down, don't make it mechanical. Just sweep and come up. And one more time. Just sweep and come up. Keeping that chest open, roll those shoulders back. Palms open to me as you roll the shoulders, causing that humerus, that upper arm bone to roll open. And we are done.